Hey everyone, hope is doing well. I am currently on the way home from the gym, about to stop to get a pizza, but wanted to do a quick little overview of the workout that I had today, and then kind of dive into some of the training I did over the summer before I got my teaching job. So the workout for today had some no-foot snatches, some 1+2 clean jerks, and a top single of 141. The top no-foot snatch was at 110, which I did without straps, which is kind of a weird thing to be talking like it's a positive thing, but I don't normally do variation lifts without straps, like no-foot snatches, don't normally do them without them, but just want to continue to practice doing no-foot stuff for one, but more stuff with just the hook grip. And then did some snatch push press, some front squats, which took a crazy jump up to 182. Wasn't really expecting getting it, but just wanted to try it just to see, just kind of have a YOLO attempt. Dropped down, did some eccentrics, and then some snatch pulls, and that was really about it. But really productive workout. Got enough sleep last night, so my workout went a lot better. When I neglect sleep, my training goes absolutely to crap, and when I train or get enough sleep and eat enough, then my training always goes well. So it's just such a simple formula, but it is what it is with that. So on to the topic of the video. I graduated college in 2016, and I spent that whole summer applying for teaching jobs and doing teaching interviews all over the place, and it took me a while to the very end of the summer to get the teaching job that I have now down in Cincinnati. It wasn't until like a week before the teacher orientation started that I was hired, but spent that whole summer doing teacher interviews and lifting. And the gym that I was going to was in Canton, Ohio, the Unrivaled Strength place that you saw me lifting. If you notice a couple posts back on Instagram, or if you scroll back on YouTube a little bit, the other gym, the Rubber City weightlifting place, that is the place I used to lift at, the old place. They used to have an old building that was smaller, but when I was there, I was doing all powerlifting, and they had really nice powerlifting equipment, and it was the first time that I had a ton of time to dedicate to just lifting, because I was doing teacher interviews and lifting weights, and that was it. And that's hasn't really changed too much. I kind of teach and lift weights, and that's really the essence of my life. But then it was much more stressful than it is now, because teaching interviews, really interviews for anything, for I think most people, are not the most fun thing. They're very stressful. But was training really hard, doing lots of different programs. I remember doing like the Russian powerlifting program, which you would squat for volume 2 different times in the same workout. So you would do like a 5x3 bench, and then do like another 3x3 or something absurd. But I was doing, again, just what I do before, just absurd amounts of volume, but lower reps and probably higher intensities. So I was still getting stronger, still getting better at the lifts, and because they had better equipment and a better environment, it was just going better for training. And thankfully I didn't have to deal with like crazy cold weather or anything, because it was the summer. So it's just a really good training environment. And that was the first time I did a 275 clean. I believe it was 275. It was either 270 or 275, but I want to say it was 275 because I was lifting in pounds. All the bumper plates were in pounds, but I did it with my powerlifting belt, which is super thick and certainly not safe to be doing, and chucks. And I had all the mobility in the world, but I was still trying to do some cleans, because I had read somewhere or seen somewhere that it helps you get stronger, and that is very true. But was dabbling with that. I don't think I was doing hardly any snatches, but I was starting to do more cleans and trying to practice those more. And remember doing that 275 clean, being very pleased about that, and just continued just to hammer myself. I did reps and reps and reps, and that's when my hook grip got pretty good for powerlifting. I remember doing like a set of 10 hook grip on a deadlift. They were touch and go reps, which make the hook grip, maintaining it, a lot easier. If you do dead stops and stop completely, then your thumbs just get ripped apart. But I was PRing my lifts and just progressing really well. And that was really like the whole summer of training. It wasn't really that exciting. It was just me beating myself into the ground to deal with the stress of all these teaching interviews. And I continued to do that the entire summer. I lived in Akron, Ohio at the time, in one of my dad's rental properties, as I was doing all these interviews. So I had one roommate who wasn't really there a lot, and he was nice, but we weren't really like hanging out all the time, because he was working all the time. And I think I don't know if he was doing school and stuff, but he kind of kept to himself. Wasn't, like I said, he was nice. So we talked a little bit, and I think he gave me some venison once. It was the first time I had deer meat. But that's a bit off topic. But I was living in Akron, Ohio when the Cavaliers won their championship, so that was a really cool time because I watched the game, and I had always grown up being a Cleveland fan of all sports, and now I don't really follow sports too much besides football, and that's mostly just for fantasy. And now that my fantasy is done, I don't really pay attention. Now the Browns are stinking, I don't really care too much about staying up with it too as much. But at the time I watched the game where they beat the Warriors and won that game 7, and then I'm in Akron, Ohio, so like a really big Cleveland area, or a Cleveland sports area. And after it, you go outside and you just see like the city was like shooting off fireworks, because I lived really close to the University of Akron, so it's not like you can really set fireworks off in your backyard. There weren't really like too big of backyards in the houses that were there, but they were shooting off fireworks, and it was just a really cool vibe just to be in that place at that time, just to like live that moment, being a Cleveland fan my whole life, and seeing all the futility in 20 some years of my life of all their different sports teams, and then finally seeing them win. And I know it's probably a lot more special for older sports fans that had to go through even more years of turmoil of Cleveland sports just continually letting you down in different ways. But it was a really cool moment, and one I'll probably always remember, because it's a very unique one for Cleveland fans to experience. And I don't know, at this rate, might never see it. It might be another 60 years or whatever till we get another one in a different sport, or some in any of the 3 major sports that we have. But the training, like I said, went really well over the summer. And I spent a lot of time lifting and a lot of time dealing with the stress of all the teaching interviews, and finally got that teaching job and moved down to the Cincinnati, and had to find another gym, and found one in Kentucky. But I'll talk about that kind of in the next video. I tried to record this before, and I just was rambling about application stuff for teaching and how stressful it was to interview with all these jobs. But that's a topic for another video if it is of interest. But I want to kind of keep these focused on the questions that you had, Kevin, and not really go off on too many tangents. Otherwise, I'll be having 84-minute videos that will be very, very long and arduous to get through, and even longer for me to render. Part of me wants to keep these short because I think it'll be better for the viewer, but also like it makes editing easier, so it's kind of a win-win. But with that being said, I'm going to end this video here. Hopefully you enjoyed this and kind of got a little glimpse into what I did over the summer before I was getting a full-time teaching job, because I had lifted at my college all the way up through graduation, then had to find a place when I was living in Akron, and then had to find another place once I got the teaching job, which was another really big transition, and kind of when I started to dive into weightlifting a little bit more, because I was still trying to focus on powerlifting all during that summertime. And I don't know if I don't think I did a competition over the summer. Didn't really have the time nor the really desire to do it. But with that being said, I'm going to end this one here. Hopefully you all enjoyed, and I'll talk to you all in the next one. Have a good one. Peace.